And you already know what it is. Jay Williams, let's live life, and we're back. Today, on today's agenda, and as y'all know, it is Friday. That means it is payday. Gotta get this money, gotta get my guys paid. I've actually done all that already, and I'm on my way home. But on today, I'm gonna give you some do nots. Better not. Don't do it. No. Do nots. Things to do not do while incarcerated. Things you better not do. Things that are going to cost you. Things that are going to come with consequences, repercussions. So yes, before you get to, did he lose weight? No. I shaved the beard. The beard was weird. The stash was trash. Enough of the scruff. Couldn't take it no more. It had to go. There's a whole lot of things you're going to want to do and not going to want to do while locked up. Today, I'm going to break it down for you. Today are going to be some of the more commonly done things that shouldn't be done. That if you catch yourself doing is 100% going to get you ping, pong, pong, pong. All up in that. Somebody's going to reach out and touch you like AT&T. Remember now, there's a lot of low down, dirty, grimy dudes, no good dudes locked up. Now, a lot of violent guys locked up. There's a big misconception that just because like you're at a low level camp that everybody there is nonviolent. Not true at all. I've met dudes, legitimately met dudes that were there on petty crimes that were savages, that would take you up out of here. They just so happened to get caught for something petty and none of the violence. But you would see the violence because they would show them real selves when they got locked up. That's when, if you're an alpha or a beta, it's going to come into play. Who you are as a man, the very fabrics, the fibers that make you who you are going to be tested. Guys are going to try you. They're going to hit you that dope fiend larceny. Come at you sideways. They'll try to get over on you. They're going to talk about you. They're going to say slick things. And in those moments right there, you're left to make a decision. You're going to let it ride? You're going to let it slide? Or you're going to stand on yours and handle your business? I can tell you now, if you let it slide and let it ride, you just opened up the door to a very, very bad experience. Everything that comes after that is going to be nothing but all bad. So that's what we're doing today. Some things you better not do. Some things you might want to try to avoid. Things to not get caught up in while incarcerated. You know how to see it. You know how to live it. So let's relive it. Some of these things I'm going to talk about in today's video, I am guilty of. I had to learn the hard way not to do. Gossiping. You talk to somebody about something thinking that he ain't gonna say nothing or that nobody else hears. Let me explain this to you. There's always somebody listening, especially in those dorms. The dorms are the worst. The bunks packed side by side. It's hard to whisper in a dorm and somebody not hear you, especially when it gets later in the night and people start going to sleep. And you want to sit over in your little cut, your homeboy's cut. That's what we call the area between the bunks, the cut. You want to sit in the cut and talk. Pretty much anything you say or discuss after about midnight, anybody within a 5-6 bunk range is going to hear. And if you're not talking loud, you try to whisper, the guy above him or the guy to the left and right are most likely going to hear. My advice to you is keep your mouth shut. If you ain't going to do nothing, don't say nothing. It's been something I lived by for the longest time. And that's kind of what held me back from doing the podcast is I lived by this code of, you ain't going to do nothing, don't say nothing. I don't live by the codes no more, man. I live by I'm a grown man. I take care of my kids. I work for a living. This is my journey type code. But gossiping, I told y'all some of these things I've dealt with firsthand. Now, I've told the whole story of how my homeboy Jay Bequino, twin, ended up getting jammed up with the banger. He ended up getting shipped to Supermax up off Greensville. And it all stemmed from something I saw on the rec yard that had to do with a gang member. Now, we are out there on this day in particular, and there's not a whole lot of people out there. Some of y'all might have heard this. But we're out there, and there's not a lot of people out there. Now, you got this Crip dude out there, and we got this corner right beside my cell window. Right outside my cell was the handball court and the fire escape door that we would come out of to go to rec. That's where guys would go to fade. If you had an issue with somebody, you could take it there. The Garden Tower couldn't see it. It was a blind spot. It was a design flaw in the penitentiary. Anything that popped off in that corner, unless you walked right up on it, you couldn't see it. I come walking around the corner, and there stands the Crip dude, backed against the wall. And you know how, like, if you got your arm around your girlfriend and she's got her butt pressed up against you, and y'all are kind of in that position, the back of her head is facing you, and you can, like, lean your head on the side of her shoulder. They were kind of like in that position, right? But bent over a little bit, weird angle. And what you noticed was doing something they shouldn't have been doing, especially with dude being gang affiliated. He 100% should not have been doing shit. So I come in, I sit down on the bench. I'm talking about what I had just witnessed, and I break it down for him. What? Yeah, man. He was out there and he was like he was getting it in. Nah. Yeah. My gossiping, my talking, me thinking that and just talking to my homeboy. Now I'm talking very, very low. In the penitentiary at most given times, there's a lot going on, a lot of noise, people yelling back and forth, screaming from this cell to that cell, yelling up to people, yelling out of cells, arguing over sports, general conversation. Penitentiary is just generally a loud place during the day. What I didn't realize, and there were other people, it's 3 rows of bleachers inside the pod. It's actually 3 blue benches lined up in a row. And there's 3 TVs hanging on the wall, and in front of every one of those TVs is 3 rows of like metal benches, like almost like park benches. I'm sitting there, and a dude comes and sits behind me, and he overhears what's taking place. This dude happens to be Crip. He sits there and gets his ear full, and he caught me gossiping, and he caught me talking on the next man. I had not told anybody. This is the first person I talked to about this, and lo and behold, somebody from that gang overheard what I had to say. So then they go to dude. Dude comes to me, and y'all already know the rest from there. We get into fighting. Then, you know, knives, weapons, all these different things come into play, which is very common with the penitentiary. And it all stemmed from me gossiping. Now, a lot of people would say, you wasn't gossiping, you was putting dude out there. No, I was gossiping. Putting dude out there would have been coming in the pod and getting on what we call a loudspeaker, or getting on the door and yelling it out for everybody here, making an announcement. I wasn't making an announcement. I was talking to somebody, and my tone was not quiet enough. A dude overheard me, and it brought a whole lot of problems our way real fast. Not just for me, but for my homeboy as well. And with Twin being my cellmate and my ace boom coon, that is my guy. Shout out to Jacob Aquino. But with him being my cellmate, he's gonna rock out. He's gonna bang out behind me no matter what. He's shown me that time and time again. It wouldn't be the first time. But me talking didn't just put me in harm's way. It put him in harm's way. Put everybody in my circle in harm's way. It's gonna get bad. And it all came from that. Which goes toe and toe with being nosy. You got gossiping and you got nosy, eavesdropping. What the dude did behind me, he also broke a rule. You could call it being nosy, but if I was speaking loud enough that he heard me, was he really being nosy? Yeah, he was being nosy. Because he had to really focus to hear what I was saying. I wasn't talking loud. I wasn't yelling like right here to here. My homeboy sitting directly beside me as I'm talking. You got this guy behind me eavesdropping. I've seen many a guy, many a man. I've even been checked in the past in my younger days that being nosy stuff can get you hurt. Like I've told you, when it comes to somebody's cell, a cell is your home. That's your apartment, the hut, the crib, the spot. As long as you are incarcerated, that is your house. Now you got the big house, you got the penitentiary in itself, and then there's so many cells inside. Every cell is alike, but every cell is different because you're going to set it up to be as comfortable as it can be for what it is while you're there. Now, catching somebody looking in that cell, even if it's just walking by and glimpsing in, is a no-no. They're being nosy. And there's a big reason for that. Hey, if I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing, and now the guards get on wind, the guards peep game, they come shake me down, the first thing I'm going to start thinking is, who saw what I was doing? And say you just happened to randomly be walking by and you glimpsed over in my cell and I'm in there bagging up wine, or I'm in there sharpening something, and you see it and I get some type of feedback on it, or it makes its way back to me that I was in there doing it, and the only person that saw me in there doing whatever I was doing was you, well, then I'm going to run up on you. And even if you didn't say anything, well, you're my only suspect. So you had to have said something. You had to have seen something. And you know what's crazy? Most times, it's not the guy you suspect. So mind your business. Don't chime in. I've seen that go real bad. Somebody be talking. What are you going to do when men are arguing? And then you want to jump in the conversation, right? And here you come. And you chime in on it. And then one of the men looks at you and says, who the asked you for your opinion? Nobody talking to you. Nobody asked you what you thought. My bad. Now ain't so bad. What you mean? Like now you've put yourself in a position to where you got to do something to somebody, and somebody's going to do something to you because you spoke on something that had nothing to do with you. Now I've had that mindset since a child. It was something I was taught. You don't speak on stuff that has nothing to do with you. But I've come to the realization of something, right? I'm a social media influencer. There is a lot that takes place on social media. I've got to speak. I can't just sit around just talking about prison. There are times I don't want to talk about prison. That's why I'm so glad to have Jay Williams. I'm living life, because then I can switch content, just jump into whatever I want. But I'm not going to limit myself on what I speak, because I'm not in prison no more, and I do not live by prison rules. Next, do not, and I've done so many videos on this by now, you would think that you would get it, but everybody ain't going to get it. Do not get involved with the gangs. No shots fired. Not dissing Noble Gang. I don't care nothing about your set, nothing about what you claim. That don't mean nothing to me, man. That's your thing. You do whatever you want to do. Live your life however you want to. But to the guys that are not involved in any type of gang lifestyle, you're going to be approached when you go in there. For some of y'all, it's going to be enticing. It's going to be something you see and you're going to be like, man, I want a part of that. I like the respect they get. I like how I see them sit down and eat together. I like how I see them mobbing on the compound, walking around 25, 30 deep. I like that. Sit back a little longer before you make your decision. And watch. Give it 6 months and watch. And then tell me if you still want to join. After you've watched them attack their own, after you've watched them catch street cases, after you watch them go to the hole time and time again. I've seen guys come out the hole and return the same day, the same week, the same month, and sit back there for months and months and months and months under investigation. Investigation means you don't have any actual charge, but they're looking to put charges on you, or they're investigating something that took place, and you or your organization's name came up. So now they done rounded all y'all up, threw you in the hole, and pending investigation until the outcome of this thing is done, you just sit there. Don't forget the part where I told you there was this prison gang thing. A lot of them, I know a lot of states, the gangs in prison are official. These are street gangs that have transitioned into the system. But then again, a lot of these gangs that guys join are prison gangs that were started in prison. You come out here, you're not going to get the same respect in the streets from other gangs that you did in prison. In prison, it's kind of an unwritten rule that everybody has to get along. Now, you got certain organizations that at any given moment would love to go to war with this other organization. But like I said, there's these laws put in place that say everybody must get along. Out here in the streets, not so much. You come home and somebody, especially if you live in a gang-infested neighborhood or area, and you come home and now people want to know what you was banging inside. And you tell them, they're like, what's that? You thought you had some rank, you thought you had some pull, only to come to find out that organization only has power behind the walls. Out here in the streets, it don't mean nothing. And it's real hard to explain when, say, you're a Crip set or a Blood set, what you're claiming to a real set, and they don't know nothing about it. You're what? You're an offset of something they're part of, and they know no parts of it. Oh, it's gonna be real, real bad. Gang stuff ends bad a lot of times, whether it's because you get sent on a mission and end up having to hurt somebody else. Somebody comes and hurts you. Remember this, it's not something you can just sign up for, and if you don't like it, you can cancel your subscription. It don't work that way. Canceling this subscription is going to hurt. It's going to be painful, life-changing, altering event. Dudes ain't gonna be too happy with the fact that you turn your back on them. This is blood in, blood out. You shed something to get in, you're gonna shed a lot to get out. Next, talking to administration, kiki, haha, laughing and joking with them guards, being all up in them guards' faces. That is a quick way to get your potato peeled, to get your onion peeled, to get your egg cracked. Nobody likes a dude that's always conversating with the guards. Nobody's gonna trust you if they see you always talking with the guards. If you're always in the guard's face and it seems like the guards are one step ahead of all the rest of us, or that the guards know more than they should know, and they come in and they start going straight to cells where things are jumping off, people are gonna start looking at you funny. Now, you can be a seasoned vet. Somebody's been down a very long time. People know better than to think that you would ever do anything like that. But for the average guy, your everyday Joe Schmo, Jimmy Greenhorn, Sammy Sausagehead, you don't want to be in that guard's face. Number one, if you are talking to the guard, that means the guard is talking back to you, and her eyes are aimed in your direction. And if her eyes are aimed in your direction, then that means she is somewhat focused on the area where everyone lives. So if I'm in the background of you and I'm doing something and you've got the handcuffs on her, that's what we call it, put the handcuffs on her, and you've got her locked in on a conversation, then there's a good chance that rather than staring off into space or looking next door at the other pod, or looking at a monitor, or playing tic-tac-toe, or playing with her toe cheese, or whatever it may be she does in control booth, there's a good chance that because you've got her attention, she just might see something going on in there. I might be in there tattooing and sneaking somebody out of my cell, and you got her up in the control booth, she's talking to you, and she looks over and sees this guy coming out of my cell. Or a fight jumps off. Because you've got her attention, she's looking around at what's going on, and now she sees it. When I said putting the cuffs on the guards, that's a no-no. When them guards come in the pod, a lot of guys don't know no better. They're irritated. They're pushing paperwork. They need something, and it's usually something petty, and they ain't got no response. Now, when the guard comes in the pod, you want to get them in and get them out. We do not want them on the floor. We do not want them in here. We do not want the guard in here any longer than they have to be. And they come, usually they just walk through, look in the cells, and they keep moving. Most times they don't even stop unless it's to say, hey, uncover that window, or hey, take that down, or it's to give you a direct order. Now, if they stop because you have stopped them, oh, guys ain't gonna like that. Not one little bit. You don't know what could be going on at any given moment, and now you have stopped the officer in the middle of the pod. All illegal activity, all breaking laws, all the stuff we're doing that the guards don't know about ceases while the guard is in the pod. You wait till that guard's gone, and then you go back to what you're doing. Guys might be in the back shooting dice with real money, with illegal stuff, and now the guard's in here and everybody gathers this stuff up real quick, dice game on hold, and then you go over there and put a 20-minute conversation into play. Guys aren't going to be happy. They're going to be gritting their teeth. Hey, let them go. Call them. Write them a letter. Take the handcuffs off the police, man. Get them up out of here. Hey, why you talking to them? People going to start yelling on you. And depending on how much time passes, especially when tattooing, you've ever had to take a break in the middle of a tattoo? And I'm talking a long break, like 30 minutes in between a tattoo, because this guy's got the guard in there, and then you got a 30-minute healing time, and now you start digging back in it, you're gonna feel some type of way about that guy. Because of him, there was just a 30-minute time window, a 30-minute gap of that gun not running. The pain has started to wear off, and now I've had to feel it all over again. My endorphins are now trying to re-alert, re-kick in because of you. Don't get all friendly, ha-ha, kiki with the guards. If it's a female, that's one thing. But even then, you've got to make sure that your interactions don't rub people the wrong way or draw too much attention on what's going on around. Take a break real quick, and I got a question. Are you subscribed to my Instagram? We got a lot of stuff coming out on Instagram. I just dropped a couple reels on there in the past week. Just starting to learn the whole Instagram thing. Isn't that crazy? I don't know much about Instagram. So if you have not subscribed to Jay Let's Live Life on Instagram, make sure you go do that. I think we're like 80 some subscribers away from that 10K mark. I need y'all to go over there and check me out on Instagram. Next on my list, do not be too flashy. Don't be that guy that's always trying to show off. Don't be the guy that wants everybody to know what he's got. Somebody is going to come looking. You got some guys that just want to put their stuff on display. What you are doing is you are making yourself a target. Don't think you can't get touched. Don't think that your reputation is going to save you. There are some guys in there that are straight up crazy, that are crazier than you. They don't care how many bodies you got. They don't care what you did to such and such, or who done what back in 1973, or what you did in 1995, or what you did in 2019. They don't care nothing about that. They're not playing with a full deck. They're hungry. They're a thief. They can't help themselves. And you are constantly putting your stuff on display. In due time, somebody is going to try their hand. In due time, somebody is going to come. And you're going to be put in a position where you're either going to have to deal with a thief. Everybody hates a thief, right? Well, there's thieves all throughout prison. So in due time, somebody's going to come and try to steal what's yours. Then you've got to find out, okay, who stole from me? And then you're 100% going to be expected to go handle that. You got stole from and you ain't do nothing about it? Oh, no. You got to. You're obligated. If you don't, everybody is going to look at you as soft. Might as well take your bag and dump it out. I've told you before, and this is all situations that could have been avoided. You wanted to be big shot, Mr. Baller, with $300 worth of canteen, stacking the soups and the chips and the sodas and the honey buns all nice and in a row for this guy to come in there and take it. Now you done put yourself in a position you can't get out of. Or you got everything on display, and because guys see it, guys want it. Out of sight, out of mind, right? Man, I'm hungry. Who got some honey buns? Man, I just walked by Jay sale, looked up in there. Jay got all types of honey buns. 27 bags of coffee, 130 sodas, 96 soups. Guys sometimes don't even want it. But just because they know you got it, they'll come and ask for it. Keep what you got on the low. And that applies to everything, especially if you're going to be in there doing stuff you shouldn't be doing. Now guys get tore off, hustling, getting stuff in through the VI, and doing things they shouldn't do. 9 times out of 10, it's not because they get caught in the moment. No. It's because somebody gets jealous. You get in somebody's way. Or somebody asks you for something on the front. Or you short somebody. Something happens that makes somebody angry or upset. And that man drops dime on you. That man tells on you. He goes and he writes on a little piece of paper. Now, most penitentiaries have what's called a request form box, or the mailbox. You got outgoing mail where you write your loved ones. In that box, you can also put a request form. That request form might be, hey, I need some new boots. Hey, my socks got holes in it. Hey, somebody stole my laundry bag. I need new laundry. Say somebody decides to tell on you. They go. They write on a piece of paper, Jay is getting the pack. Yes, he's getting the pack. He's getting the bomb. He will be getting it this weekend. You dummies, he laughs at y'all. He gets it every weekend. It's a girl that comes and sees him. Woot, woot, woot. They tell the whole thing on you. Why? Because you've let too much be known about yourself. If you decide you're going to be the man, you're going to hustle, you're going to make some money, keep your name as low-key as possible. Nobody should even know that you're getting it except for whoever your runner is, except for whoever you've got getting rid of it. And even then, you don't want him knowing. A lot of times, you find you somebody that you truly know you can trust. That's a needle in a haystack. It ain't many dudes in prison that you're ever going to be able to fully say you can trust. But find somebody that you think or that comes as close to trusting as possible. You put him on. You give it to him and you say, hey, this is how much I want back. This is where the money's going to go. This is what needs to happen. And you let him take care of it. You make it appear to everybody else that he is the guy, that he is the plug. So that if anything should happen, you don't get tore off. The last thing you ever want is your family members, your loved ones to get caught up and to get locked up. Because when you get caught in the visitation room, whoever's coming to see you, whether it be a girl, your mom, your kid, doesn't matter. They're going in handcuffs and they're going to jail. That concludes my list on today's video. Now, this list was not put in any particular order. A whole lot of thought didn't even go into this video. These are the type of videos that I can just sit and ramble for hours and hours and hours. Believe it or not, this video right now is at 1 hour and 14 minutes before editing. I then have to edit it down to somewhere in between 20 to 45 minutes. Because ain't nobody sitting there. I know a lot of y'all, Jay, I would watch an 8-hour video. I hear you got to get up out of here. But anyways, these jails, these prisons, these facilities, these tattletales, these rules. Oh, just crazy world inside of a already crazy world we live in. And as always, y'all know what I'm doing. Just trying to keep y'all entertained. Are you not entertained? And like always, this is Jay Williams, Let's Live Life. And to all my real ones, and there are some real ones out there, y'all still watching me. And y'all know how we do. Salute.